Hello everyone, this is Boich. Today's video is Boich's Toon column time. Let's talk about manga. In my previous Toon column video, I made a prediction about the emergence of a massive global comics and manga market. To summarize my discussion from that video, I stated that a manga market size at least $40 billion would come into existence worldwide. And it is the minimum estimate of its scale. To achieve this, all comics and manga creators around the world should come together. For that to happen, it is important for everyone to recognize that all forms of comics are one family. And we need a name that unifies us, and thus, I named it Toon. That's why this is called the Toon column, and my channel is named Boich B Toon. Furthermore, I mentioned that aspiring manga artists from all around the world would have the opportunity to realize their dreams. I also coined the term Morocco Project for this initiative. I then emphasized that aspiring manga artists from all around the world are not individuals we need to help, but rather, they are beings who were born to help us. They are gifts and seeds for creating a new manga and comic world, and the signs of the emergence of a global manga market are already apparent. These signs are starting to emerge. While there are still some individuals who haven't acknowledged these signs, I have been fervently advocating for such assertions in the past. Today, I'd like to present you with some numbers that will serve as tangible evidence supporting these assertions. I have expressed that the future of Toon, which includes manga, webtoons, graphic novels, American comics, bandes dessinées, comic strips, publishing, and digital platforms, among others, holds immense potential. Moreover, I firmly believe that manga industry, requiring exploration and further development, represents the untapped frontier of media content markets in the 21st century. While I am not a marketing professional or researcher, I have been closely monitoring the advancements in the film industry for many years and have witnessed substantial transformations in various aspects of pop culture. Based on my observations, I believe that the audiovisual art market, especially focusing on movies, will undergo substantial growth and become an important national endeavor in various countries, including the United States and South Korea. I've noticed the government policy, media outlets, and companies in each country investing in the film industry, implementing regulations, and making various efforts. The progress of the film industry in my home country, South Korea, is especially noteworthy and serves as an excellent example of the industry's advancement. Reflecting on these endeavors, we can acknowledge the immense potential that the film industry possesses. Investors have placed their trust in the remarkable potential of the industry, prompting them to invest and expand their businesses. With the onset of the OTT era, the industry has expanded beyond traditional movies to include a wide range of content such as TV dramas, reality shows, documentaries, and of course, the anime that we love to watch. If we take a moment to reflect on the past, we can ask ourselves these questions. What leads us to believe that movies possess such enormous potential, will continue to evolve, and will emerge as a significant enterprise representing the society and culture of a nation? What is the source of that belief? The theater market, which is the primary market of the film industry, is incredibly large. In certain regions, it holds tremendous significance. So where is it? It's the North American theater market. The North American theater market is incredibly vast and impressive, and the quantity and quality of movie content produced there have been outstanding, leaving a remarkable impression on everyone. In the 80s and 90s, movies like Jurassic Park and Titanic achieved enormous global success, serving as catalysts for the growth of film industries in many countries. Now, what was the size of the North American theater market, which was at the forefront of the global film industry during that period? It was approximately $10 billion annually. $10 billion. Then what is the current size of the film market in North America? Excluding the years 2020 to 2022, which were significantly affected by the pandemic period and can be seen as outliers in theater statistics, The North American theater market was approximately $11.4 billion in 2019. However, statistics may vary slightly. The immense global media content market we have today, which encompasses platforms like Netflix, Disney+, and Amazon Prime Video, can be attributed to its roots in the North American theater market, which initially started with a scale of around $10 billion. This market has had a substantial influence in shaping the expansive landscape of the current video content industry worldwide. And the box office revenue worldwide before the pandemic was approximately $40 billion. North America holds around 1/3 of the international film market share. Indeed, it is incredible. The North American film market, including the international film market, was valued at $11.4 billion and $40 billion respectively. In the 80s and 90s, Hollywood accounted for around 1/3 of the global film industry revenue, with North America being the primary contributor. Presently, the global revenue is on a similar level or even surpasses the earnings from North America, sometimes even doubling it. Depending on the film, overseas revenue can exceed twice the amount. Typically, international markets generate comparable or double the revenue. This clearly explains why Hollywood studios did not prioritize the international market in the past and they now extremely focused on the overseas market. These numbers tell us very clearly. The disparity between revenue from overseas exports and domestic market revenue has a substantial influence on whether content is created with a global perspective or not. This is an aspect that warrants careful consideration and further exploration. These are important factors that require careful consideration. While I share this perspective, it may not be the right time to delve into this discussion at the moment. Anyway, that is the key point. Please remember these numbers. Moreover, I assert that the global manga and comic market is poised for significant growth, surpassing a minimum of $40 billion. However, over the past year, my friend from Canada and I have stumbled upon some fascinating data that has ignited our excitement. It feels like the beginning or happening of something, reaffirming our thoughts and ideas. It's a report about manga market size, share and growth analysis, 2023 to 2032. According to these reports, the global manga market is expected to reach $13.5 billion this year. $13.5 billion. And for the global comics market in 2022, the estimate in the report is $15.3 billion. How many of you surprised at the moment? Are any of you feeling breathless? Well, if you're having such reactions, there's no need to continue watching this video. You just need to realize. Please move quickly, and I hope you'll be the one to prepare and embark on the first global comic and manga business leader. However, let's continue the discussion a bit further. Now, let's explore another aspect mentioned in these reports. According to them, the market size for global comics in 2029, 6 years from now, is estimated to be $21.4 billion. $21.4 billion. Additionally, for global manga in 2032, the projected market size is forecasted to reach $53.2 billion. Impressive numbers, isn't it? The manga market is significantly larger in size compared to the comic market. Well, different research organizations may have different analysis results because they use different methods and collect data from various sources. The market growth predictions are based on the observed growth rates in the market over the past few years. Therefore, it is expected that the market will continue to expand in the future, leading to these projected numbers. Interestingly, according to the reports, the manga market has demonstrated remarkable growth within the global manga market. The manga market's significantly high growth rate likely contributes to the overall market growth, resulting in these impressive figures when manga is excluded. As some of you may have already realized, growth is vital. The foundation for the massive market of all film content, including global platforms like Netflix, was established with the scale of the North American theater market in the 1990s, which was approximately $10 billion. However, as of now, the projected size of the global manga market alone is $13.5 billion, while the global comics market is estimated to be $15.3 billion. What does this mean? Regarding the global Toon, I see it as evidence of our work and the hope for the future of this endeavor. Could it be evidence of its validity? I hope so. I think it's interesting pieces of evidence. It's evidence that we should invest in the future of Toon, have faith in its potential, and anticipate its growth. It's evidence that we should imagine the impact of Toon in this world. These numbers, $10 billion, $13.5 billion, and $15.3 billion. Additionally, I want to mention the future growth rate graph we discussed earlier. Apart from the linked reports, we have thoroughly examined various reports and articles primarily in English. And I have also invested in purchasing reports from Japan. Generally, the forecasts do not differ significantly, and the market size analysis shows minimal variation. However, we have yet to come across articles and reports that explicitly delve into the meaning behind these numbers and the growth rates I mentioned. Why haven't they found them? In my opinion, it seems that the individuals writing this report and article did not consider the history of the film industry and the other visual content in connection with market analysis. However, I have had a deep passion for the film industry for a considerable time, continuously observing and reflecting on the significance of every piece of information related to movies and video content for us. What significance does it hold for us? These thoughts have consistently occupied my mind. That's been my mindset all along. Therefore, I believe that if you approach it from a comparative perspective, you will also be able to envision the tremendous possibilities, just as I did. Nevertheless, it is essential to acknowledge that the growth rate projections, such as the global comics market reaching over $20 billion in the next 6 or 7 years, or the global manga market surpassing $50 billion within 10 years, are merely estimations. Unfortunately, but the prediction is uncertain. I understand that these numbers are simply estimates and it's highly unlikely for them to unfold exactly as projected. That's because it's impossible for the growth rate to remain consistent indefinitely. Such linear progression is not feasible. However, we can certainly acknowledge the remarkable growth that the world of Toon has witnessed in recent years. While the data is impressive and substantial, it's important to recognize that it may not continue in the same trajectory. Growth rates are prone to fluctuations and plateaus. But isn't it also possible for the growth rate to increase, right? My interest is not in its decline, but in the potential for a higher growth rate. Let's consider our world, the world of Toon. Have we seen individuals like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs emerge? Were there significant and monumental investments made? Was there a consensus on the industry's business outlook? In reality, we have not seen many of those opportunities materialize yet. The growth of manga today is grown by only readers. That's the fact. People who loves to read manga, who supported this industry simply because they enjoy to read it. Does any industry like manga exist in the 21st century? Have you found industries that thrive and grow in a similar manner? Just by diligently supporting and purchasing our works, we have contributed to reaching these numbers and surpassing the North American theater market size of the 1990s. This has led to the emergence of reports stating that these remarkable market projections can indeed be achieved. You are truly amazing. You are the best. Thank you. Thank you so much. If there are the best consumers in this world, it would be you. However, despite these numbers, it is only natural to expect that if other businesses enter our world, the growth rate will increase. Anyone would think that way. If someone like Elon Musk appears in global manga market, if companies like Build SpaceX, Tesla, or Netflix emerge in global manga market, what would happen to us? Even without that, if we continue on this path, reaching $20 billion or $50 billion is possible. That's why when we discovered this report, my Canadian friend and I couldn't help but feel overjoyed and excited. And I am so grateful to all of you, our manga readers and fans. So, let's take a moment to think about it in more concrete terms. If we continue on this trajectory, it is possible to reach a global market of over $20 billion within 6 years, or maybe the growth trend stop or go down. Now, let's envision a scenario where global Toon platforms are established. Imagine a successful industry transformation, where publishing undergoes a significant shift towards IT and digital platforms. Let's imagine a world where large-scale investments are made, and ambitious and creative business leaders engage in bold challenges, creating a competitive environment. And let's imagine that new manga markets emerge all over the world, giving birth to talented artists who actively engage in their creative endeavors. What could happen? What kind of historical events would appear? Is it possible that we might witness even greater results than what the reports indicate in terms of growth rates? The report, being based solely on the Japanese manga license market for overseas exports, might not fully reflect the potential of aspiring manga artists from around the world. So, let's not stop here. Let's explore additional possibilities and developments that can occur moving forward. We should discard the notion that only manga can succeed. Some say, comics are dying. Manga is growing more past and bigger than any comic forms. Print is the past. Digital is the future. Why should we confine ourselves to such distinctions and limited thinking? Why something has to disappear? I don't agree with that. Each and every one of us possesses immense potential, and we are growing together. We are one. A family. That's why it is appropriate to give it a name. Because we are one. Therefore, let's consider the concept of progressing collectively while offering services on the same platform. Through mutual influence and learning, we merge into a cohesive entity and grow together. We operate within the same platform. Furthermore, our creations, art, and media the Toon hold untapped potential that I believe remains undiscovered. We have a multitude of ideas and possibilities in mind. Let's explore the realm of possibilities that have unfolded before us. Movies have made incredible advancements and have showcased mesmerizing visual effects. There is so much to admire and gain inspiration from them. That's why we are always amazed at the movies. It is indeed true that there are many things that manga and comics can learn from movies and video content. However, it's also true that there are many things that movies cannot express, while comics and manga have the potential to do so. My friends, I believe that there are still unexplored possibilities within the realm of manga, waiting to be discovered. And together, we can explore the possibilities for the future of manga, full of endless possibilities unfold in the world. What would happen if additional events take place? Do you grasp the significance of the minimum $40 billion I mentioned earlier? When I initially mentioned the figure of $40 billion, it may have appeared to be an inflated number. However, it was merely a starting point or a significant milestone within the larger context. I perceive it as a milestone. Shall we talk about Netflix a bit? What I'm about to share is based on my recollection, so there may be some incorrect. As far as I remember, Netflix's annual revenue ranges from $30 billion to $40 billion. Of this, its payments, such as plans and pricing, could be $10 billion annually, while the remaining amount comes from advertising revenue or similar sources. To put it simply, plans and pricing make up around $10 billion per year. In other words, the $10 billion as consumers pay accounts for the total revenue of $30 billion to $40 billion, including advertising. This revenue structure translates into Netflix's market cap, which, if I recall correctly, stands at around $150 billion. $150 billion in market capitalization. Now, let's tie everything together. Have you grasped the milestone at least? A minimum global Toon market of $40 billion has been established, and an enterprise company is working towards developing the global manga market. Let's consider acquiring a small portion, say about 25% of the market share. That would mean securing approximately $10 billion in consumer spending, similar to Netflix. By incorporating advertising revenue and other factors, it's conceivable to surpass $30 billion in company revenue. It seems possible. If that's the case, isn't a market capitalization of $150 billion an achievable aspiration? Impossible? Why would it be impossible? Is there anything we cannot accomplish? No, there isn't. The numbers are already proved. Examine the numbers and envision the possibilities. The future potential of the market possessed by manga represents the future of our world that we have envisioned, conceptualized, and prophesied over the past decade. It's all about possibilities. The reason we were able to envision and prophesy such things is because of the presence of aspiring manga artists like you, who refuse to abandon their dreams despite the limited opportunities for debut in the world. Therefore, what our world needs is the emergence of a powerful and visionary business venture. The market needs to be pioneered. Investments need to be made. And then, the support of governments from various countries needs to be obtained. And most importantly, we need to take an interest in manga artists around the world, the aspiring Toon artists. People must pay great attention to them above all else. They are the gifts of our world. The accomplishments in the realm of video content and visual arts, which we observe, including those of Netflix, originated from the North American theater market, which reached a value of $10 billion. The current market size of our global comics and manga has surpassed $11 billion. Now is the time for our future to emerge. This is the message I want to share with you in today's column. Thank you for watching. Happy manga drawing, everyone!